Hello YouTube. So just installed this transmission cooler, trying to help it shift better between first and second gear. These cars are well known to slip with a transmission, but if you drive them easy, keep the fluid change, they can still last a long time. But I think heat is another big factor. Let me switch the camera. Honda, I would say, had a very terrible design here where the metal tube there that carries transmission fluid, it gets heated up by the engine and stuff here. So I think that's a really stupid design that Honda did here, 98 to 2002. I'm not sure what it was like on other year models, but heat kills transmissions a lot of times, so I think that's a big factor right there. But I should have done this a long time ago, really. So I just installed this transmission cooler. Instructions are terrible. See, that might be the number on this transmission cooler that I got. The brand, let's see here. Torque Flow. Oh no, I think this is the number. 911403. It's 7.5 inches by 12 3/4. And it's 3/4 of an inch thick. And it comes with installation hardware, but the instructions suck. So what you want to do is mount it here in front of your air conditioning condenser. The really difficult part is I still got to clip these off, but I just left them on for the video. So sticking these through the radiator is very easy. But Honda, another dumb design. See, I've had cars before where the radiator and condenser are right up against each other. Well, with Honda, you have this humongous gap in here, which is kind of bad for cooling your condenser and radiator. But because of that gap, when you go to push this through, it doesn't want to go. It'll go straight through the radiator, but then it doesn't want to go straight to the condenser. It kind of tries to like bend or flex, and it's really difficult to get it through. So what you have to do is kind of try to figure out where it's aligned on the before you put the transmission cooler on. You have to figure out where it's hitting the condenser, and take another one of these or a pick tool or a screwdriver and go ahead and like kind of make a hole through the condenser already, and then it'll go through a lot easier. That part was kind of a pain. Getting the hoses to slide on was a pain, especially it was even more difficult here and down there, right here in the other spot. But what helped a heck of a lot is I ended up getting some silicone spray and spraying the ends of the hoses and the hose barbs, and then they slide on way easier. Makes a big difference. So you can mount this in parallel, in series, I forget how you call it, along with the radiator. I did not do that because I want it to stay cold. Having the fluid go through the radiator would just make it get hotter. So I have it completely bypassing the radiator. So I used, first thing I did is I disconnected the old hose from here, and I connected a new hose onto here. The old hose is just kind of hanging out down here by where you the transmission dipstick, just in case I ever need to put it on again. But anyways, and then I routed it through the little holders, those little clips that hold the old hose in place. I used those to hold the new hose in place, and ran it to here and cut the hose. And then with the leftover hose, I went from here and down and to here. And I actually could have cut the hose shorter. Instead, I just kind of coiled it up right here a little bit. It just kind of bends around a little bit extra. This is the old hose that was connected here. I reused the old clamp right here, and I reused the old clamp, whoops, over here, and I used the clamps that came with the kit for this part and this part though. Originally I thought I was going to have to cut a couple holes in the bottom of my bumper, but then I realized the hoses can just run right through here between the AC condenser and this blue metal frame. Just run them right through there, and there's nothing down here in the way, so I can put the bumper on no problem and nothing's going to be in the way. So that worked out very nicely. So yeah, now it's going to run a lot colder, the transmission fluid, and I'm hoping it's going to shift better, because I notice as soon as I start the engine, start driving, it shifts pretty smoothly, and like 5 minutes later or so, when the engine warms up, it always starts shifting a lot worse. So I think heat's a big factor there. So far my transmission fluid looked like it was still good, but after I drive around it might go down some. So just make sure you have a quart of transmission fluid ready. Check it before you drive, check it again after you do a little driving, after adding the cooler. I always use the Mobil 1 synthetic fluid. I've been using this for 5 years, no problem. You can use the Honda if you prefer though, it's up to you. But yeah, just be prepared. You might need half a quart, maybe a quart of transmission fluid after doing this. So yeah, that's pretty much all there is to it, I guess.